It's extremely inconvenient for people to do.
That's a good way of putting it, isn't it?
And I think that's kind of like, that's it. Like, if you go up to somebody and you start telling them these things, it's so much easier just to say that guy's crazy. And
Netflix. Get back to
if
Netflix.
he's
Get back
right,
to my takeaways. Yeah, yeah,
that's
absolutely.
right. And if he's right, it would involve me having to do a ton of work to kind of figure out what the hell he's talking about and how to protect myself. So I think I'm just gonna, change the channel and just go back to whatever it was I was doing, because and you also have a bit of victim mindset mixed into all this. So like at the tail end of these things, it's really hard for most of the population to not feel like a victim, because
Yep.
in all intents and purposes, many of them are, to these policies. And so the classic victim mindset is, you're not going to change anything. This is just how the world works. And so just, keep on going back to your slave job and digging the hole.
Hmm.
And stop thinking that you can outsmart this, Mr. Alarmist. So you got that combined with the inconvenience of what we're talking about. And if I was going to double down on the number that you said earlier, you said there's 18 million coins, and you got to take the 7 billion people or whatever in the world and divide it by your 18 million coins, after you account for the ones that are lost. I would tell you the number is more dramatic than that, and here's how I would scope it.
Please.
The buying power is not evenly distributed, and at the other side of this, it's not going to be evenly distributed either.
Right.
Okay, so if you're taking that and thinking that the number is going to be equally divided by the 7 billion people in the world, you're just totally kidding yourself. The real number is, you got all of this. Take the value of everything on the planet and then divide that by 18 million, and that's the value of one of these units that we're talking about. And so, you hear Michael Saylor say numbers like 300 trillion. I think Greg would probably agree with that, and I also agree with that number. I think that when you're looking at the sheer size of what this might be and what this might become, you're probably talking about 100 to 300 trillion dollar divided by the 18 million. And that's going to be the terminal buying power, probably, that one of these will settle in at. And you're going to get to a point where, one of my pet peeves, hearing kind of various influencers out there, they're like, it's going to go up forever. I really disagree with that idea. I think what you're going to see is it's going to go up aggressively in probably the coming 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get to a point where, like, think of when we were younger, and you could go out and buy bubble gum for whatever amount, call it 50 cents or 25 cents or whatever. And a year later, it was pretty much the same price. I think you're going to see something similar to that with Bitcoin, where you're going to be able to go out and buy bubble gum for 500 sats or whatever, or 50 sats. And it's going to still be 50 or 500 sats the following year.
Yeah.
We will get to that point. It's just, it's hard for people to kind of understand how the buying power is not going to change after you get to a certain point when this thing goes terminal.